Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Old World Behemoths podcast. My name is Alasdair, and I am a behemoth today for matters that we'll talk about in a little bit, but are kind of teased by the nature of the episode. I finally finished our event pack for our next doubles tournament, and I'm feeling pretty big about it. With me this evening is Alex. Welcome back, Alex. Why are you a behemoth tonight?
I'm a behemoth tonight because I've been doing an immense amount of FDM printing of probably the biggest model I've ever done, which we have a picture of.
Which is amazing. And some, I mean, not to spoil it for the people at home, but some FDM printing of the prize support of our upcoming events as well, which again, we won't spoil for the people at home, but it's looking pretty incredible that we have such amazing prize support, which you're putting together.
You're not meant to say that we did it. You're meant to say this came from the highest quality.
We'll edit it out. It's fine.
Imports.
Yep. No, it definitely doesn't have
European made.
It definitely doesn't have your dog's hair. It's somehow printed in with the with the filament. Thank you to our patrons: Death1942, Ghost, Pandem Wargaming, Joshua 6, Silp Dave, Gomo, Bonehead, Earl of Kent, Ullazed, West City Wargamers, The Orange Juicer, Big Daddy H, Torytown 69, and The Prophet of Sotek, our most recent patron. Thank you all so much. You help us make sure that we can keep producing content as sporadically as we do. But you also mean that
every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. You're right. We're pretty good about that. But it also means that we get the opportunity to prepare events, which frankly, if you'd asked me 18 months ago whether or not we would be doing events again after a decade of not doing them, I would have said absolutely not, never in a million years. But with the support of our patrons, we're able to make sure that we can actually put an event together and not have it come directly out of pocket, which of course everyone finds a little bit difficult at the moment. So thank you to all of our patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, you'll be able to find the link to our Patreon page in the show notes or description of the video podcast, wherever you happen to be listening or watching. So, Alex, this evening I called an impromptu record earlier in the weekend because there are a few things that I wanted to talk about, but obviously the biggest one, the most important one, we have to talk about first, and I'm only mostly sarcastic when I'm talking about the most important one. Cathay has come out in the last the big announcement, obviously a live stream, which was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious to watch.
Talk about technical difficulties.
Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. But Cathay has come out, the stuff that we've been expecting in terms of peasants with spears, peasants with bows, some ranged alternatives to balloons, so crane gunners. What are the other ones called? The Iron Hail Gunners?
Iron Hail Gunners, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Hail Gunners are coming as well. And as usual, as predicted by those cynics in the community who were thinking about Cathay, they appear to have gotten it all.
Some are saying that this should have been the first box. If you listen to Rob and Val's stream, I mean, let's face it, I'll say everyone's listened to their stream before ours.
And hardly ours, yes.
Yes. Is that I would agree. Like, I feel like this box should have been the first box because it's got the foot troops. It doesn't feel elite outside of maybe the crane gunners. I kind of like the sexy thing in the box. And the second wave should have been the big BCs. But we've had the balloons. Rumor is we're going to be saying goodbye to the balloons in a massive FAQ nerf in January or February.
Yeah.
But I have to say, life is good in Warhammer the Old World because I think when Cathay was first released, there was probably a fear in people's mind that Wave 1 was it. And it was like, okay, like we're going on to the next thing, Cetra's Fury. Like, yes, you'll get an Arcane Journal, but that's about it. The Marauder release was announced. Okay, well, yeah, nope, balloons are here to stay, and now this has come in. So the overarching theme being that the peasants are arriving, but hilariously, Alistair, correct me if I'm wrong, but the average Cathay militia is actually a retired Jade warrior just in his 50s. Loosely. Look
Look,
at the crane gunners.
look,
Those are not your average Joe.
They're certainly not, but I believe, from what I understand around this Arcane Journal, it's called the Assault on the Great Bastion, or the Breaking of the Great Bastion. The whole idea is that while the Jade Fleet has sailed away to help the Empire, a chaos invasion has kicked off at the Great Bastion, which is, of course, the Great Wall of Cathay that separates the lands of Cathay from the Chaos Wastes.
With the three big gates.
Yes,
Snake, Eagle, and something else from memory.
I cannot tell you. It's been a long time since
fans are going to come at us hard for that.
It's been a while since I played
the breaching of the Great Bastion.
The breaching of the Great Bastion.
Yep.
There we go. So I believe the idea is that, because of this invasion and all the elite troops are away, there's been conscription in the way that Cathay is like to do, where they just pick up every peasant that's remaining, the young, the old, everybody else, put weapons in their hands and send them forwards. Now, if they decide to give Cathay peasants weapon skill 4, I'm going to be extremely annoyed. But the things that worry me, there are a few things that I look at this and I do get slightly worried. I mean, honestly, I think it's only really the Iron Hail gunners that I think stood out from the article when they were going through them, and only because it feels like they've decided to continue on their tradition of, those are nice rules that some of the Arcane Journals gave to other armies. Wouldn't it be great if just some of the Cathay units had them too? So what I'm referring to specifically is this appearance of them being able to at least once fire into ranks, which is something very uncommon for missile infantry in the old world.
Fire.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it'll even be volley fire.
Yeah, well, actually, I did make that assumption. You pointed out to me that it would have been in the weapon profile if it was there. So actually, you're probably right. It could actually be worse.
Well, so sorry,
let me rephrase that. Not worse. Better for Cathay players, but worse for us non-Cathay players. They might volley fire, rather than being half of the rank, have it all.
Well, yeah,
2 full ranks.
And I think it's unfortunately in the way that they've complicated the weapon, because we know what the Iron Hail guns look like, because the gunners on the balloons can take them. And I believe, and I'm sure this couldn't possibly be the case, but I believe they're both quick shot and maybe move and shoot still, and they don't suffer penalties from multi-shot or moving. Alex will quickly verify that for me, but they're absolutely multi-shot. I think D3. They're strength 3, AP -1.
Multi-shot D3, strength 3, AP -1. Move and shoot. No modifiers for using multiple shots, all whilst making a stand and shoot charge.
There you go.
All long range. All long range.
Well, I mean, look. What more do
sounds like the ogres? What were those ogre models that Tom used a couple of times?
Yeah.
Lead belchers, something like that.
Those ones that quickly saw the shelf in his display cabinet again. Yeah, that worries me a little. I mean, right now there's a mechanic that looks like that in Nuln, where your handgunners have the ability once per game to fire into ranks. If this new rule is a little bit more frequent than that, I think there's going to be some more upset people, but that doesn't strike me as something that may be particularly unusual. The crane gunners, of course, I do love the look of them. They are very Skaven Giselle-esque.
Yes.
And it makes me kind of feel like the designers have been looking through the Skaven book after that kerfuffle with the Skaven banner.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That made it
the
to
banner
print.
Of superiority.
Yes, that made it to print.
Yep.
I do wonder whether they've just gone, is that the Giselle profile? We'll strip that out. Will they be able to target characters? Will they be able to do all of the things that Giselles are able to do? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. From a thematic standpoint, I do have to say I love those banners. I love
Oh, yeah.
those unit banners. The whole the whole Chinese kite theme, the wind sock sort of kite theme that appears to be going through them is fabulous. But there's a little friend in the corner there, Alex. For those of you who
He's
can't
my
see,
most favorite part of this whole release.
I mean, I feel like you're just going to get the box just for him. But for those of you who can't see on the slide that we have in front of us, Alex has taken a snip from the article of the Astromancer's Familiar, which I'm sure you will have already seen, the little crow man, which has a little Tzeentchian influence. Would you say, Alex?
Shockingly similar to my Lord of Change, like a little baby Lord of Change. And explain, perhaps spoiler alerts, why that is very interesting. Alasdair.
What I mean, look, the Cathay lore that we see already has given us some indication of there being a chaos influence that sort of runs as an undercurrent to Cathay. There's something called the Monkey King's Rebellion, which I believe in the timeline happens around now in terms of the old world. Or maybe a little bit before, and it wouldn't surprise me if they just shuffle it around a little. But that was effectively a Tzeentchian cult that strikes up in the mountains of Cathay, and there's a big civil war over it, and the dragons get involved, and et cetera, et cetera. It'd be interesting if that sort of popped up. But the little crow man, whether it's a nod to that or whether it's some sort of precursor, I don't know. But the Astromancer's coming as an additional wizard focus kind of worries me as well.
Well, that was incredible because they've already got. I mean, look, okay, the dragon is the special character as a wizard. The Shigungan lords are wizards, and so they maybe needed these. I mean, I suppose these are going to be the cheap level 1, level 2s.
I don't know. I think
probably not.
I kind of feel that these are going to be.
They're going to go to 4.
I think these will
3.
be. No,
I'm going to call it now. Maximum 3.
I think they're going to go to 4. I genuinely think they're going to go to 4. And the reason that I say that is that right now the only options, as you rightly point out, that are level 3 or higher are the Shigungan lords or the dragons. And I don't think there's another one, because I mean the Shigungan lords are novel in their own aspect because they are basically the beast brought in as well as the character.
Shigungan generals are also level 1 and 2.
But only level 1 and 2, not level 3 and 4.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Which is
lords. Yeah.
Which is why I think that these guys will have the opportunity to go to level 3 or 4, definitely. But anyway, we digress.
Anyway,
I think we've
fine. But
yeah,
the one thing on this, the other comment is if you just look at these models, and we'll get onto the sideways spears and the modeling of that in a second. And then you look at the marauders that we spoke about last time. The size has to be confirmed, right? Like this is the size of the model is definitely not the old traditional 28mm anymore. I think it's a good thing because we can explore much more detail on models when you scale it up. Tom Carley in the UK on Richie's stream, if you watched their group one recently, spoke about the fact that as you scale up the game, you actually open up the STL market a lot more because then you're not having to mess around with
this is true,
downsizing.
But you know, we've seen the clampdown that Games Workshop has done on STL designers recently. I definitely don't think that's an intended consequence of what they're doing. But I agree with you. I think the shift is here. What makes it interesting for me though is so recently there's been more made to order old classic models been popping up. So there was very recently a whole Empire host. So Empire command groups, Empire state troops. So I wonder whether is it just a money making opportunity where they're trotting out these old sort of pewter
100%.
pewter miniatures while they sort of go through the design process on the back end?
Well, also they need to feed the beast, right? Which
Yeah.
is everyone now is so used to the 40K release schedule.
Mm.
And I said this before, people forgot that 10 years ago we got one book every like 6 months, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 editions since
I
I got
do.
an army book.
Yeah, I do have to
Yeah.
say, I am still consistently surprised by it. I am just the sheer volume of stuff that's being released, even with the commitment that they made to, releasing all the Arcane journals and getting it out, and the speed by which that was done. But even still, the most recent releases, these 3 Arcane journals that have come out really, really quickly, I'm really taken aback, and it makes me very hopeful for what the game is going to look like in another 12 months. Like, how
I think
different
this
will
is
it be?
space now. I think this is now. I think now it's unequivocally mainstream now, because we had the Marauders release on just like a random Monday afternoon. No one's really paying attention, having their coffee. Oh, damn! Like, this has just come out, followed by this. So we're always got, without a roadmap, we already know what the next 2 things are. So come early next year, we're probably expecting more. And I think when we did our stream with Gomo earlier, about 4 episodes ago, we actually put up the number of books that were released last year, this year. And if they needed to release, I think it was 7, maybe 7 books per year, 7 to 8 books per year. Like, that's a lot when you think about it. But if you have the Marauders coming out, which has to be imminent. Watch it come out tomorrow as we release this.
As usual.
As usual. This can't be that far away either, in the sense that 3 months. Like, and I mean that's soon. Still. So yeah, aside from that, I think it's good. But we've all gone into this point, Alasdair, because it means that when my bears are released, hopefully they're not in wave 3. They've got to be in wave 1.
So, dear viewers, dear listeners, mark this moment. It is. I'll peel back the curtain. No. I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. It is Sunday, the 16th of November that we're recording this. Mark this as we get to the 16th of November 2026, and we'll come back and we'll revisit this comment and we'll see what the result is. But anyway, I think it's enough. We've talked enough about the obligatory Cathay release, unless there's anything else that you want to call out from this box. I think it's interesting. It looks good. It'll add a bit of depth and variety to Cathay, particularly in our neck of the woods meta, where unit limitations and repetitions are all quite important. I don't know whether the gang in the UK and the EU and the US will experience any relief from their 5 balloon horror shows, but maybe, as you said, the balloon changes that are potentially coming in a January FAQ may solve for that anyway.
Yeah,
but
we hope so. Anyway, moving on.
The next biggest thing after obligatory Cathay that we wanted to talk about is that we are very, very pleased to announce that early next year in February, we will be launching Legacies of War II. So this is the successor event to our first enormously enjoyable and successful doubles event here in New South Wales in Australia, for like the one international viewer that watches this, or those people who go on the other Australian pods and call out, oh yeah, I've listened to the Behemoths every now and then. For you guys, February next year, at the wonderful Exiles Gaming Club in Marrickville, we will be hosting another narrative doubles event, in the same vein as our first event, following on some of the story that happened there. Hopefully we'll see some of the same sorts of armies come back, and definitely the same people. It was a beautiful mix of extremely lovely and enjoyable people who came to our last doubles. But looking really similar in scope, we'll be capping things at a reasonable level for teams so that we're not too squeezed in. But I think we have the capacity for something like 12 or maybe 14 teams for this event. Maybe a little bit more if we do get the interest. But I digress. It's 750 points per player doubles, and when I say doubles, I mean doubles, both players playing at the same time on the same table against another team of 2. We will be using Behemoths Battle March. So you'll hopefully be familiar with Battle March as a format right now. We're using a very slightly amended version, which casts it more in a low fantasy and magic limited aspects. But otherwise, for our core comp, we're stepping away from the comp restrictions that we actually put in place for our original doubles, and we're going to be using Battle March to sort of use it as a bit of a litmus test for how GW's comp is really going to work for this sort of narrative-friendly event. We'll be using match play guide missions because it is a 1,500 points game in essence. We're going to be leaning back into those, but keeping it simple, keeping scoring really consistent, and making sure that we're still playing Warhammer as a game type. It's not really that different. It won't be unfamiliar to players. We'll return to the narrative arc. We'll have a lot of the same things that we had last time in terms of game preambles, in terms of a story that gets told over the day, maybe with a little bit more interactivity this time around. And I'm also very pleased to say that I've just about finalized our wild cards, and I won't say too much on this other than to say, while we had a little bit of, at our last doubles event, I'm sure you remember, Alex, we had a little bit of scuttlebutt going around, some of the players saying, oh, I wonder if this is going to happen, or oh, I wonder if they're going to bring this rule in, or we're going to do this, or wouldn't it be great if I could
hit the central objective was
legitimately, or wouldn't it be great if I could stab my ally in the back at this key moment?
But we didn't say no. We just let them believe it.
That's right. And this time around, I'm very excited to say it's a distinct possibility.
Oh yeah,
and it's gonna be a lot of fun to see how wildcards interact. We'll release that whole deck of wildcards as well when we get to the event. We won't be doing it beforehand because we don't want to spoil it for all of our players. But once we get there, we'll release that as a Patreon reward as well, so that everyone can check out what the wildcards could be. You can introduce them into your own games, in your friendly games, to add a bit of spice, that sort of thing. And then last but not least, as we sort of talked about before, we've got some pretty incredible custom prize support that Alex and I are working on. Alex, for the most part, is doing the production of many of these and a heavy bit of the design. But we'll be working together to make sure that
it's a team effort.
That's right. That the prize support.
We'll get Tom to paint it all
in all of his free time. Yeah, we'll make sure that the prize support is as good as it was, or better, for this event as it was last time. I think the real thing that I'm worried about having to top, though, Alex, is our prize for the best team. Because last time, Steve and Dave walked away with a charming pair of best friends forever necklaces that shaped into a little heart, which was very sweet. But I don't know. We'll have to figure something out.
The minimum order quantity, 1,000 of those necklaces you get from Temu. We'll see us through. But you can also see here that not only are we doing all this prize support, but one of the major pieces of feedback that we took away, not from the players, but ourselves as tournament organizers, was Exiles has a great set of tables and terrain. And what we wanted to do was actually create different themed boards. So last time I think we did a good job in getting solid tables set up, but now we want to make sure that there is, and unfortunately, much to my own chagrin, I've had to print the biggest model I've ever printed from a Dark Elf design.
And that is the tower that's in the middle of the picture that we have up on the screen. Is that?
And that's the tower. And would you believe that is the top of the Dark Elf Bastion set that I got from the SCL designer, who I will give a shout out to.
I mean, I do hope at some point you print the rest of it, because I want to see. I think we had a discussion. We had a discussion early on, I think, when you started printing this thing, and we were talking about it, and you were a bit laissez-faire about it, I must admit. And I asked you how tall it was, and you gave me dimensions. The only thing that I could think of is, Alex, that's like as tall as your toddler, and you're expecting to put 6 of those in the car with you when you're traveling.
Miniature Realms is called Miniature Realms. Shout them out. They and Dark Realms are the two. Dark Realms Forge are the two designers that are basically I've got all their terrain from. But you can see here the two Dark Elf buildings are actually from Dark Realms Forge. But yes, that is. I'll post, maybe if I remember in the edit, the top of the little graphic of just how large this thing is. But yep, this will be the Dark Elf table, and we'll have to do a demonic table, and we'll have to do maybe a dwarf table, as well.
Maybe an ogre table, if we can put it together. I think you'd have no trouble getting Tom printing that, or painting that.
Painting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very exciting. So players pack for that, I think we'll probably include in the show notes and description. I think we're at the point now where we've launched it. We may as well start sharing it around.
Did we announce the date?
I mean, look, when this comes out, it'll technically be the official launch. So we'll include it we'll include the link to the Google Doc of our players pack in the show notes and description of this as well. And you'll start seeing it around in all the forums that Alex's burner accounts are all linked to and can blast within. Anyway, I'd also wanted to talk a little bit tonight about Battle March. So in Cetrus Fury, this new mini comp system popped up for lower points games called Battle March. And it's pretty prescriptive in terms of, Games Workshop says it's for this. And I imagine that you could use it for anything, really. You could go up to 999 points. Instead of hitting over 1,000 points, you could go down and make it a 250 points thing if you really wanted to. But how you find points for a character at 250 points, I don't know. Either way, it's indicated that it's to add depth to games between 500 and 750 points. But one of the things that I actually wanted to call out, and I wonder whether it will lead to the adoption of allies. I doubt it will, but because there are so many TOs that are just really leery of allies. But it also suggests that you should use Battle March as a force structure for allied contingents.
Yeah,
and
which a lot of people have missed.
No, I found that to be so interesting. And so I wonder at some point over the next 12 months whether we see an event that tries 2,000 points and you can use Battle March to put together an allied contingent. I really wonder. But Battle March as a system, as a structure, it relies on the force and organizational structures of each individual Grand Army and or Army of Infamy. So if you are Slayer cults, for example, you still only have to do 20 or 25% in core. If you're what are the Chaos Knights things?
Heralds of Darkness.
Thank you, Heralds of Darkness. Then again, you have limited core and you only have to do that. But what it does say is that you can't spend more than 25% of your points on a single character. You can't then spend more than 35% of your points on a single core unit, or 30% on a single special unit, or 25% on a single rare or mercenary unit. So that's pretty limited. And I think in terms of points, if you're looking at 750, 25% is 188 points, 30% is like 197, and 35% is like 220 something. So pretty limited numbers on any one unit that you can spend points on. And then it has the other requisite that you must include 2 non-character units in your 700 or 500 point army, and they can't be swarms or war beasts, which is very interesting. They can be war machines.
But it's in a normal game as well.
This is true.
Yeah.
Can be war machines, can't be swarms or war beasts, which has an impact, I feel, definitely at this points level.
Yeah.
Where you might want to have taken 2 units of Chaos Hounds or whatever it is to sort of fill out a little bit of core as opposed
Jungle
to
Swarms. We definitely don't know the world's #1 Lizardman player who likes to spam them.
Definitely don't know who that person is. Definitely no patron of the podcast. But the last and probably most important call out of this entire structure is this 0 to X per 1,000 points. And we've played a game or two of Battle March, and we in list creation have been consistently called out by this because it really changes the structure of what we understand to be either really efficient or really important parts of your army. And that is basically the way that it works is it says, we know that there are units that are, you can take 0 to however many per 1,000 points. For the purposes of this, you can include 1 of those options in your entire army. You cannot include 2 of them. If you have something which is, and the example that it gives is really interesting. If you have something that is a special rule that you can take 0 to 1 times per 1,000 points, that counts. So in this case, it says, I think, if you give a goblin mob skirmishes, which is something that you can give 0 to 1 goblins per 1,000 points, that counts as one of your options. And then you can't take a war boss or a rock lobber or any of the other things that are also 0 to 1 per 1,000 points.
And let's just be explicit, because I got this wrong when I read it. It's not like we had it in our pack, which is, we understand you're below 1,000. Just assume that you're at 1,000 points for your purposes. No, it's 1 and done.
Yep. 1 for the entire army.
1 for the entire army. Only 1 option can be from that 0 to 1 for the entire army.
So I will call out that Renegade Crowns is very good at this point because of this. Because of the way
Old World Builder does have a Battle March add-on now,
does.
and I assume New Recruit would as well.
Yeah. So definitely go start putting some lists together, because I guarantee you'll go, this is default for my list, this is default for my list, this is default for my list, and instantly you will be caught by, oh, I can't take both of those things. So I have to choose an angle. Now, one of my bugbears, I love this, by the way. I love Battle March. I love the concept of it. I love that they've created a structure for these smaller points games, because as we've talked about previously, it's events that have smaller points games and more of them that are more welcoming to new players, that are more accessible and more interesting. But my biggest bugbear with Battle March is that it still allows you the freedom to take your 0 to 100 points of magic items if you have the sort of space to do it. So things like vampire counts, just to pick on one faction in particular, you can still take your Master Necromancer and the Scepter de Noiro and the Cloak of Mist and Shadows and still be under 188 points, which is the 25% character limit, right? So you can still be a level 3 who's double resurrecting and is ethereal and is very, very hard to do anything about at 750 points when there aren't going to be a huge amount of armies that are capable of doing that. So for our narrative, friendly, easygoing event, we're remedying this by just leveraging a handful of the comp inclusions that we had last time. If you saw our
fantasy.
Yep. If you saw our event pack last time, there were some pretty heavy restrictions around behemoths, around mounted characters, around mounted monsters, around units with fly, around all of those sorts of things. But fortunately, Battle March as a whole, with the 0 to 1 per 1,000 points, seems to have cut off a lot of those avenues to really come up with something that's a little bit too cooked. And so we want to give that freedom back. So we've removed all of those, but we are keeping the low fantasy theme, which means no unit champions have magic items. No rank and file units have magic banners. Magic users are capped to level 3, and each army, so each 750-point army, can't have more than 5 combined levels of magic, with bound items contributing whatever their power and level is to the levels of magic cap. We're not accepting named characters. Named characters at low points levels are very, 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 very good, and are very efficient when all of the all of the high level efficiencies are taken away. So we're not including named characters. And finally, characters themselves can only take 25 points of magic items. We're not putting a cap on that in terms of you can't take 25 points for the whole army. We'll be a little bit more open around, you can take 25 points per character. And the reason that we do that is obviously the 25% limit on each individual character, and the Battle March 0 to 1 or 0 to X, that per 1,000 points both have really heavy limits on what you can then take. But we also recognize that things like the Bretonnian Baron builds, if you were just left to take however many magic item points that you wanted, you could still build a very formidable one-man army character at 188 points. It's very, very straightforward to do, that a lot of things at 750 points can't deal with. So characters can only equip up to 25 points of magic items each. This includes things like High Elf Honors or Kindreds or Big Names or Marks of Chaos, or any of the sorts of things that you add on as an additive to those characters. Alternately, a Battle Standard bearer, which is a character, inevitably, can equip a magic banner of up to 25 points instead of taking any magical items. So we feel like this still gives you a little bit of freedom to take some of the more army-specific items without getting a bit carried away. We know there are lots of items that are 30 and 35 points that are very, very, very good and increase efficiency by an extreme amount. So 25 points seems like the sweet spot. It's low fantasy. It's keeping things simple. It's adding a little bit of flavor and a little bit of uniqueness based on faction, but we're just not letting things get too carried away.
Yeah, and casting our minds back, maybe you were like the Oracle of GW, because the original con was very similar to Battle March, which has made it so easy for us to just adopt it across from it. But the armies that were there, the one that just sticks in my mind is the horde of orc boys, like the massive blocks of orc boys. Not from Dave,
No, I remember.
But Josh.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name either.
If he's watching, apologies. But yeah, great. Like, just like there's nothing more Warhammer than a bunch of massive units of orc boys rushing into the town center to attack it, and being faced off by 20 halberdiers.
I believe it was one of the Joshes. So it was maybe Josh Phillips.
Oh, Josh and Josh. Yeah,
yes, Josh and Josh.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. We'll edit it out. We'll just leave it in. But yeah. So the point being that the intent of everybody there was none. They all brought armies that were not broken, right? And I think the comp helps to do that without limiting people's fun.
Definitely. And I think the most I could call it the most efficient, call it the most cooked character was like an Exalted Champion on a demonic mount. And that was as bad as it got. right? I think everyone else took a lot of there were plenty of characters, but I don't think any of them had, again, that game swaying impact. And who knows what will happen, because Battle March doesn't preclude things like a strategist in a balloon. That's still a thing that you can take, but you can't take the ward save and the magic resistance, at least, at the very least, right?
Yeah, so even one cannon is a bad day.
Definitely.
Without the ward save.
I mean, look, we had that experience, didn't we? You took a was it a giant spawn or a giant? Was it a giant?
Oh, the giant when we played our
when
battle
we played
march
our
game,
when we were playing our battle
Hordes.
march.
Yes.
And I had a Border Prince's Bombard, and the Border Prince's Bombard did work at 750 points. So it's good. It's good that those sorts of things will be included as a limited option in terms of what you're allowed to bring. So we'll keep an eye on things. It'll be really fun to see what happens this time around. We've moved the day as well, so if the Western City Wargamers are watching, it is on a Saturday. I think it's Saturday, February 7th. So hopefully
February 7th. Yes.
Hopefully moving it to a Saturday opens up a few options for our dear friends out west. But we're very much looking forward to it. We're locked in terms of preparation and making sure that we've got everything ready to go. And it'll be great to do another event, another doubles event, a proper doubles event with the partnerships, the hilarity, the costumes. My God, the costumes last time.
The point is, we didn't touch on that, but that's all staying.
That's correct.
That's all staying. That
so
if you better you get and by the way, the winners of the last event, theme points, I think they scored max.
They tied maximum with another team. Yeah.
Oh yes.
So who
with the orc and the elf?
No.
Oh no.
It was the wolves.
Our Dark Moon Riders.
The Dark Moon Riders. It was Lockie,
check out the video
and Phil.
and the shorts.
Yes. No, it was Lockie and Phil who also brought along the war horn. And they would belt out the war horn every time.
Every time.
It was so good.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, for scoring and everything else, it's a really good point. For scoring for our event coming up, we will still be included. We're simplifying things a little because we had a lot of story scoring and teamwork scoring, and we had a lot of layers. And many of them didn't ultimately end up getting used. So we've sort of revised that and simplified it a little bit. But yeah, very much will be including theme. Costumes get you that much further. Hopefully it leads to a few people again sort of putting armies together specifically for the day. It's 750 points is a really achievable hobby target. So excited for that.
And please, we need even numbers so that we don't need to do a dummy round, so that we can walk around stirring things up.
Yes, we need to be dealing out wildcards, not playing games. Mind you, I had all my models, all the wrong models, but I had all my models ready to go. Anyway,
that's right. And shout out to Exiles Club, please. If you're local to the Inner West, go support them, check them out. We will be continuing to host the events there. Great venue, air conditioning critically. Now, as we head into summer, it will not be a boiling hot shed like
Very
some
important.
people are hosting events at. But anyway, let's quickly move on before I get myself into trouble.
No comment.
All right.
Shout out to David Spears, by the way, Silver Dave. For those of you who don't know, he was also hosting a Battle March event there, coming up very, very shortly. I think it's maybe this weekend or next weekend. At Exiles Gaming Club as well. Go and check that out. I think the details are on You Recruit. I'm not sure how many spots are left or anything like that. I'm sorry, Dave, but
check out the Australian Discord as well. It's in there.
Definitely go check it out if you're interested in getting a bit of Battle March practice in.
Also at Exiles. Wait, you just said that.
No, it is. I did, and yes, it is. It is also at Exiles. But Alex, we're going to an event on the 30th of November.
The return of our long-standing actual, not quite doubles, different flavor of doubles.
Teams doubles.
Long history of playing together, except, and I will continue to bring this up, and Tom will back me up when he's around, for when we got robbed when I was Tom's doubles partner by you
I don't know what you're talking about.
in the final round.
Don't know
and
what you're talking
somehow
about.
we scored 0 for sports.
I think it was because you didn't have a painted army. But I definitely, it was nothing to do with sports. It was definitely to do with painting. And I think it was Tom, who still hadn't painted his Mornfangs at that point. And that was nearly 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
So
anyway,
don't go blaming me. You've got one person to blame. His name is Tommy H. But the 2+ Team Blitz is coming up 30th of November. We went through it last time, so we won't spend too much time talking about the details. But it's a really interesting comp, and it's 1,000 points. And we thought, hey, let's give it a go. Yeah. I don't know how much. I don't know how much to go into the trepidation at this point.
I would point out that so the list building parameters, not quite Battle March, but again in the same realm of not trying not to be too silly with the lists. But it's built for speed, which is unlike our doubles, which is effectively a 1,500 point force jammed in. Normally they go to time because 2 players making decisions. First round. My gosh, we didn't even touch on Alasdair. We're gonna have to make the first round 15 minutes longer because
it's already accommodated for, Alex. Don't worry. Don't worry.
All right, I'll get back on my.
I am nothing if not a champion of continuous improvement. But do go on.
Okay, yes. So anyway, we'll go on. But this time again, 6x4 split in half. You're playing a team's format. You roll a d6 each. Whoever wins gets to pick the table side deployment zone for an army. The opposing team then deploys an army, and then you face off. So it's like a very rapid fire pairings process. But each game is like an hour long. So it's super
quick.
Fast. It's going to be quick. We've played probably, I want to say now, 5 test games of this. I think we've done 5, and I think I've played Pete with his Lizardmen another 5 times. So it is very fast, but drum roll. We have our armies.
And we thought, hell, I mean, I think Alex is at this point, Alex Brown, that is TO for the upcoming 2+ event, along with Paddy. I think he's at the point where he's just about released lists, and so I don't feel that it's any harm done by us sharing this.
I'm
even
not
if
sure
we
would even do any harm in this format.
No, I mean, look, you're absolutely right, and I mean, I don't think I've been coy about it. I've been posting pictures of the
we both have
on the units for months.
It's so obvious what we're taking.
That's right. So I've kept in the theme of the Behemoths for my list. I am taking Dark Elves because I just can't face the thought of taking Empire. At this point, I've got so much Empire to paint for January, but I figured I gave myself a little break. I'd indulge in my hobby and in my passion, which was Dark Elves. I'm taking a Beastmaster, High Beastmaster, on a Manticore, which fits really neatly with a ward save in at 246 points, which is the absolute character cap at 250 points. He's a bit of fun. The High Beastmaster, for anyone who doesn't know, is sort of that like mid-level elf character, but the thing that differentiates him is the fact that he has to be either on a chariot or a Manticore. There's a level 2 sorceress with battle magic for throwing some spells around and a little bit of magical defense, who's going to sit probably in the block with my Black Ark Corsairs. Black Ark Corsairs, which you'd never see any Dark Elf player taking at 2,000 points, because they are the epitome of wet paper towel. But I'm looking forward to having the Black Ark Corsairs because it's a themed list with Beastmasters and Black Arks and monsters, some Dark Riders for a bit of support, and then I've got a Charybdis and a War Hydra taking advantage of the High Beastmaster's quirk that if you take him as a general, you can take a Charybdis or a War Hydra in your special slot, and then the other monster in your rare slot. So Yeah, looking forward to it. 3 Behemoths, it's like 600 points, 650 points in 3 big models. But
well,
I'm very...
two official behemoths and one monstrous.
well, this is true. Two
Yeah.
official behemoths and one monstrous creature. I don't know why the Manticle's not a behemoth, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, looking forward to it. And you've
but
you've
just on your
initiated
list,
the Year of the Demon, Alex.
I've initiated the Year of the Demon because I Alex Brown has figured me out. This is a problem, right? Is from 2 Plus podcast. Is he says these statements like dwarves are terrible. No one can play dwarves. Like, and I'm like, well, come on, mate. All right, I will play dwarves just to prove you wrong. So then I play dwarves. Then he says, well, no one's playing demons anymore. So I'm like, well, of course I'm coming back to demons. So I have to get my approval from Alex Brown for every army that I play. But critically, coming back to your list for a second, the problem with demons at this point level is that we are the old world behemoths, but I cannot afford a behemoth at all in any way, shape, or form. So you've had to carry the mantle of having double
all
behemoth.
the behemoths. Well,
Correct,
that's right.
correct.
Double
So
behemoths. You're right.
If anyone says, those guys, well, we had to go with the name. We had to represent, which you are, but I'm
And
not.
This is how I justify losing every game. But do go on, Alex. Yeah.
So for the first time in my Demons career, I'm playing it. In fact, in my Chaos career, because even in Warriors of Chaos, I never played this, but I'm playing a Demon Prince with the Mark and Nurgle and a heavy armor upgrade because he fits in the 250 point limit critically. And unless you can afford a greater demon, he's the next best choice. 4+ ward save. Well, 5+ armor save, 4+ ward save, 5+ regen save.
Usually a trap.
Usually a trap in other formats because you can stack a lot of combat resolution against him. But in this format, he is great. Unfortunately, in the format that we're playing, he loses skirmish as a lone character, which is everything that was on the previous slide. And for the audio listeners, one of the stipulations of this event is replace every instance of skirmisher with open order. And they mean everything, right? Even rules like we went into last episode, like the skink screen for the Croxagores, replace that with open order. So the Demon Prince will be going into a unit, which we'll talk about in a second. But Demonic Herald of Khorne is my other character choice with a Juggernaut, and that's it. Right? And he's just there to be a bit of a punch. 18 Plague Bearers of Nurgle with a Rotten Icon and a Standard Bearer. The Rotten Icon is they don't have flanks or rear, so even if you charge them, doesn't matter. Now, the great thing about this unit is it's bang on 250 points. Bang on. So there's no, if you want to talk about efficiency, wasting points on like arbitrary core units. Like, I've got, 15 Plague Bearers and then 8 Furies and it's 540 points or 280 points, whatever. This is bang on 250. It's actually a pretty solid unit again.
18 Plague Bearers is surprisingly hard to do anything about.
Well,
like the ward save plus the regen save is still very strong.
Very strong. Mark and Nurgle is great. Having to reroll 6s. The Demon Prince can park himself in there if he's facing anything that's relatively scary that he needs to go hide, or if he just needs to literally bunker around a unit. 3 Beasts of Nurgle, which are my favorite Nurgle unit of all time because they are incredibly difficult is the word to use to shift if you don't have the tools correctly. Double Behemoth will beat them, though. I think you did 2 wounds to them last time, and I did 0 back, so I lost. And
Well,
that was,
I mean, look,
and
it
that
was.
with
I think
3
it was.
monsters shot.
Yeah, but it was. So it
The
was
worst
still.
dice rolls ever, but yes.
I think you might have made it the 4 Beasts of Nurgle, right? And I think it might have been
4.
Yeah. So,
in the
but
original.
all the same, it was again 650 points worth of monsters going into Beasts of Nurgle, and I thought, how could I possibly not kill
lose this.
one of them? Yeah, they're toughness 5. Yeah, they got a regen and a ward save. Yeah, that's all right. And then, of course, you don't factor in the Demon of Nurgle rule, which is forcing you to reroll 6s when you roll to hit, and the amount of frustration that shows up when you go from rolling 6s to rolling 2s and 1s, and suddenly your 6 hits turns into 3.
Well, even if the way I look at it is, people say, "Oh, they're only weapon skill 3," and it's like, okay, but even if you drop 1 hit out of the 5 Manticore attacks, so instead of 4 hits, he's now 3. Now you're winning on. Is it strength 6 or strength 5? The Manticore.
Strength 5.
I think 5. Strength 5. Now you're winning on 4. So call it 2, and then through the ward save, everything. But they're just so good because they have Infernal Favor built in. They can challenge, which is a little
really
rule.
good.
They have a special rule similar to the Plague Bearers with the standard, where they do ooze slime, where they don't have slime trail. They don't have flanks. They don't have rears. They have Infernal Favor 1. I think I just mentioned that, around using the Demon Prince's Leadership 9. With Infernal Favor 1, they're basically Leadership 10 effectively. So even if I lose by 2, you're probably maybe getting 1 wound on average. If at all, lucky. From demonic instability. So I love them. They do no damage back. If they do anything, it's a bit of a meme.
They can spike surprisingly hard. They're D6 plus 1 attacks each, right?
Yeah.
And they have poison. Yes. And they're still strength 4 or 5?
They're strength 4.
Strength 4. Yeah. Strength 4 is still good. And through just sheer saturation of attacks, you can do a remarkable amount back to things that you wouldn't expect a 180 point unit to do. But I think it's more for me, the way that I look at them and the way that I look at your 2,000 point lists for January, which I hate so much.
We will not go into that.
No, we won't.
We'll be here all night. Yeah.
But the volume of attacks that unit can soak up before it has all the benefits: the ward save, the regen save, the rerolls of 6s, the fact that it's monstrous infantry, that you can't flank or recharge it, you can't it's unless you have 6 or 8 passive combat res in a unit and you go into it and you manage to not lose a bunch of models so that equalizes, which is really possible against it when, you're talking a unit that fits within 250 points that has that much combat res is usually pretty flimsy. When you have all of those things and take them all into consideration, it's a really difficult unit. Difficult to use your words. Difficult units to do anything about, and I'm so looking forward to seeing what it can do.
Yeah. And finally, we've got the 3 Blood Crushers, which have a champion upgrade.
Blood Crushers are so good.
It's so good, again, in this format. Again, first time showing them. The Herald of Khorne will probably go in there, most likely, and I can choose to run him around by himself. He's still a pretty solid thing that can tank smaller units, but just as the Blood Crushers hit,
the impact hits.
My gosh, the impact. Well, that impact hits to the
strength 5 as well.
Strength 5 impact hits. Then, unfortunately, there's no AP on the impact hits, which is odd because there's actually a special rule in Khorne, which the Bloodthirster have, which is AP2 hit on demonic charge.
Can't have it all.
Which I'm not. Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying AP2, but even like Armor Bane, do you know what I mean? Or like Armor Bane 2 on the impact hits would probably make sense. But anyway, there's that. Then the Bloodletters, which I have a sneaking theory that in 1.5, Bloodletters are maybe one of the most overlooked units because weapon skill 5 is nothing with cleaving blow is nothing to joke about. And yes, it's toughness 3, but this unit when it hits, again, high strength, high weapon skill, got the Herald of Khorne is ridiculous in terms of weapon skill. Weapon skill 7
Yeah,
base.
crazy. And we've flirted with, or rather, you flirted with taking him as a blood throne as well, which is
Hilarious,
incredible with the rerolls, to hit on the charge. But yeah, I mean, I think I am inclined to agree with you. I love, as from a Dark Elves perspective, I love Executioners, which are very similar in terms of they are weapon skill 5, they are strength 6, they have cleaving blow. Like, they're very, 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 very good. They're high initiative, but they are extremely flimsy with a 5+ armor save that doesn't stand up to anything. So having a unit that is virtually the same for demons that has a 5+ ward that you can't do anything about, because of course we are playing Renegades.
Yep.
Must be pointed out for any international listeners. The 5+ ward save, gosh, that's nice. That's so nice.
It's nice. And, you can lose a lot. I know we're off topic now on Bloodletters, but the test games I had with them were, in this format, which I've swapped out to Plague Bearers, but was basically like, okay, you lose a few, but when they swing back, they always kill. They always kill a lot. Or if you do get the charge off, they are movement 5 base, which is a little sneaky addition. But anyway, we'll maybe showcase. Oh yes, we are talking of which.
Speaking of
which, the hobby section. So, for those of you who are listening, I do have my demon prints with an unpainted base. So I'll say how embarrassing. and one of my first test Blood Crusher, which was my attempt at painting black armor. So shout out to Swarm Painting, another Australian channel who led us down the path of trying out the sponge, his black armor painting video.
I got my packet of shiny, beautiful daisy ridden Temu. Yeah, there you go. Makeup sponges.
Oh,
yep.
I got the hot pink ones. Yeah.
So do I. Yeah.
Yep, got all that. And tried. Actually, I did a first test model, and it was not the desired outcome. So
I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I did have to switch back to the airbrush for the second one, and this is my theme. Again, probably not as black as I was hoping for it to be, but it's fine.
I think when you put them on the bases that you're intending to put them on,
yeah,
they're gonna look as dark as you think.
They are dark, and I'm painting a few more. They've got the other 3 at the moment,
and it fits extremely well, given that it's quite different from the Nurgle stuff that you've done before. I think it still fits extremely well. So I think you've done a fabulous job.
Well, this is hilariously like trying to keep the color scheme. I joked in the chat. I had to go with the boring red, and of course, I couldn't just go with all red. So the blood letter on top is actually mahogany, red, purples, pinks, and then when you layer on top all the highlights, it kind of disappears a bit. But I was going for, do you know some of the, like, tribal warrior movies? They have paint, like, caked on the white paint. So that's kind of what I went with was, is there a bunch of dried blood that the blood letters have, like, smeared on themselves,
or ash, or
but
everything,
and now it's caked in dust and other things on the battlefield as the blood crushers are storming forward, and so now it's this caked on effect, which is what I was going for, which is kind of there. But anyway, that's going to be on the way. So,
And there's more tentacles this time on the Demon
well,
Prince.
on my Demon Prince, yeah. So funnily enough, Al, so that model was actually the biggest thing to come out of Rescale Miniatures. It was huge, and I had to scale it down by 70%.
Yeah, if anyone's familiar with the Maggotkin model from the End Times, I think it was roughly equivalent in size with the Maggotkin
Right.
model.
Yeah. Well, this again, this was a really rapid fire paint job, like quick.
Listeners,
there,
if you can't see what Alex is talking about, I'm sure you probably get the sense. Oh, it can't look that. It can't look that good. Like he's saying it's rapid fire. He's saying they're sort of gone for effect. What he fails to tell you is that every time he presents us with one of his grimdark demons, it just looks better and better and better and better. And I think this example is no different. It's a far cry from the contrast slap job that I'm about to show you. but I think you found a formula, Alex, and it works wonderfully.
I will say to anyone again who's still hesitating, Paddy Brown, to give oils a go, is we do have a video on it. It's pretty standard. But the thing about oils is I took this photo of the Demon Prince probably a few hours after I removed most of the wash. But as the oil dries, and I mean literally a week later, Alasdair, it actually looks different now. So ever so different. So that's the great thing about oils is you always get this. Some painters may hate it because they're like, no, I want consistency, but I love it because it will give you a different depth every time that just gives flavor.
Yeah,
so
and
again,
it works wonderfully for demons. Where again,
absolutely,
you're talking about if you think about how demons are supposed to manifest, the iridescence, the different colors and shapes and shades. And I think we spoke about this a very long time ago. But your Nurgle in particular is very shambling out of the dark Nurgle. So it evokes all of these themes of, rotting bodies stumbling into a camp at night and all of those sorts of things. And it looks, if anyone gets the opportunity to see it, I think at this event or in January at the next event that we'll talk about after that, one of the WSWG events early next year. Check it out because it's very grimdark and very good.
Yep.
Very good.
All right.
Less good. So I took just a photo on my desk with the with the painting box behind it of the stuff that I've still got left to put together. I think the only part of my list that's not included there are the Dark Riders and the Sorceress, both of which are already painted. But for this particular event, I've spoken a little bit about it. I revived the bases for my Hydra, for my Charybdis. I've actually been touching up the Hydra as I've been painting the Manticore as well. So that's a Last Sword Miniatures Manticore. It's a human riding a Manticore that I have bastardized and converted into a Dark Elf riding a Manticore, which I'm pretty happy about. And I'm very happy with the way the contrast has worked on the wings. I took a painting guide that I used to paint my Black Dragon and I applied it to... Is that my son? I applied it to the Manticore's wings, and it's ended up looking really, really nice. And I'm looking forward to putting it on the board. But the reason why the Charybdis base in the center there is a bit cloudy is because I've just applied a dredge of water effect to it. So it's currently still curing, and will probably be still curing in about a week's time as it sort of shrinks down. But all of my monsters are sort of water-based. I've got the Hydra emerging from the surf. I've got the... just making sure that he's... Yes, he's found an adult. Great. The Charybdis perched on a rock. The Manticore has lent itself very much in the same theme. It's also on a rock, and I'll put a little sandy beach around it and all of those sorts of things, but very much evoking the... these are dark elves who are just a landing party, and they are just coming in off the surf. Like it's a Lustrian black sand volcanic beach, or it's the elven blasted lands in Nagarond, Nagarith, I should say, not Nagarond, in the northern lands of Ulthuan. That's sort of what I'm going for. And as you can see with the Corsairs, which I've tactically not zoomed in on, there is a lot of work to still be done on them. They are probably a little bit more advanced than they might look, but the white bases certainly, because when I was spraying them for contrast paints, the white bases certainly make them look very, very unfinished. But a bit to do before January.
The snow base in theme.
Absolutely not. But I'll get around to it. We'll get there, and then Alex, I'm sure, will be kind enough to print me some specialist movement posters. What? Yeah. Anyway, no, it's fine. But I have been very much enjoying painting the Manticore. I really do feel, despite the fact that I've committed myself again to January to painting like 50 cavalry models, I do feel that a lot of the joy that I find comes from painting big models. I love painting monsters, and I'm finding that more and more. And it's a little unfortunate the way that the game is shaping up, that monsters might have a bit of a half-life, but I so thoroughly enjoy painting them. I enjoy basing them. The water effects are something that I'm really loving as well. The ability to do so many different things with water curing and the different types of water effects that you can have, and I'm really enjoying it. But this is what I've got left to do in the next 2 weeks. I'll get it done, and then I have to turn my focus to painting all of that stuff that's sitting over there in my display cabinet, waiting, haunting me. Alex was good enough to print me earlier in the year, and now I've just got to do it all. But I need a Steam tank. Maybe you can print the Steam tank, and I can get started with that. Anyway,
shaking my head for the audio listeners in extreme dismay of that comment.
He loves it. But that's it. That brings us. Go on.
We have to pause for a second. The water effects. I don't think anybody, look at us pump each other's tires up. It's just like nobody. I've never seen anybody do water like you have with the black dragon with the like obelisk coming out of the water. The Hydra, the Charybdis is on the way. When are we getting a video, Alasdair?
Oh, well, I have been doing a Charybdis. It is extremely poor quality, I will say, because I need a better way of.
Where's that Patreon money?
I need we need to ask Tom that. I need to figure out a better way, because you know what I'm doing, and we'll again peel back the curtain. I'm using this stand where it plugs onto my desk and it holds my phone at level right in front of my face, right here, and it points down at my paint space, and I sort of paint and do stuff in front of it when I'm recording a video. The only problem with this is that anytime I raise my hand to do something, it does that.
Yes.
and it ricochets, and so I'll be in the middle of recording a video which is going really well and going really smoothly, and listeners at home, I knock it and it bounces up and down and causes an earthquake.
Crashes. Yeah.
No, it just causes an earthquake. It just goes, so the video quality goes all over the place. So anyway, I'll get around to editing it at some point, but it is such a, speaking to oils as well, water effects is a slow process, and you can be impatient about it and potentially ruin it, or you could be patient and just trust the process and just accept that it's going to take time. And so unfortunately what that's meant is I have a whole series of 3-minute videos of when I've gone and I've done stuff to the model, and then I've had to wait 3 days for the stuff that I've been doing for it to cure. So, but it's on layer 3, I think, of water effect, because you got to do a couple of millimeters at a time to make sure that it doesn't go cloudy or shrink. But I'll talk about that in the video as well. But
I think you spend more time on your base than I do painting. Because
and yet your models look so much better than mine.
Yeah, but I've now gotten my process to airbrush to cut up a lot of time, dry brush, a stippling technique for things like demons. Very fast, very dirty. Oil wash. Done.
If only it was so simple for all of us.
Yep.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode, I think. Thank you so much if you've managed to make it through listening to us have a good old-fashioned
Ramble.
circle jerk on our hobbies. But we very much appreciate you. As before, special thank to our Patreons. Thank you to 25 Creative as well, who we didn't call out at the beginning of the episode, but we'll do so now for your continued graphic support. If you'd like to become a patron, you can find the link in the show notes or description wherever you are listening to or watching this video. But check out the Players Pack. Oh, yes.
I'll say quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Players Pack, though, but if you are a Patreon, you will get a special prize.
Oh, reward or two. Yes. So
reward.
A call to our patrons, and we'll put a post up about this
at
as well. But yes, at the event, we'll be handing out a bit of supporter rewards for our patrons. A few things that we'll knock together to show our thanks for your continued support of the channel. But yes, check out the Players Pack. That will be in the description as well. Join us at the event if you get the opportunity to. It's first come, first serve, and we're basically taking people by email submission at this point, similar to the way that we did before. Pay on the day, no commitment otherwise beforehand. We know a lot of people were really great about that this time. We're hoping for very much the same. But check it out. We're very excited to bring that to you. We will catch up with you, I'm sure, in another 2 weeks' time, probably post the 2+ event, maybe the weekend off.
2 weeks' time.
It is in 2 weeks off. So maybe the evening off, who knows? But that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Alex. We will see you again next time.
Thanks all.